gon' block the bro on block because I know the real. Bro, I ain't got what niggas got, but she just know I'm real. I thought I had me a meal, man, it's been stolen deal.
Ooh.
It almost got me killed. Shit, God, the reason that I'm back showed me my soul was real. And after that situation, I saw what judgment is. If you been stabbed all in your back, shit, you know the feel. Jesus, they don't know what to say because I'm damaged, but I'm healing in a better way. I'm elevated, elated, I'm a father and all. But don't mistake it for a second, I've been through it all.
I've been through it all.
Some shit make you say, my heart too full, it ain't no room. Lonely wolf looking to the moon. Them things that make you say,
That boy going in out there,
Hey,
man.
shout out Lil
That's an
Twan.
H-Town artist too?
He's in Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi.
Jackson.
Gotcha. He got
Yeah,
that
Lil
Southern
Twan
swing
music.
to him, man.
Yeah,
You
shout
know
out
what
Lil
I'm saying?
Twan. That's the
Straight
boy there.
up.
That
That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all better get it in. See the plug of all things in there. You know what I'm saying? Put you on some of this hot heat that be coming from the underground.
People don't
They
be,
ain't
they
even-
be
you know what I'm
sleep.
saying? 'Cause
They be sleep.
97.9 only gonna play the same 7 songs
Over and over.
You feel what I'm saying? Payola.
Payola. Big
Direct and
payola.
effect. You feel me? So yeah, on John Henry Clark, if you see the position he is on that video, if you can find that spot,
I'm not finna play with you, Kodak.
I know, man.
Y'all see what Kodak got me
fault,
doing?
man. I should have spent the time earlier today chopping up the clip, so I could have just sent them to a queued up where it's supposed to be at.
God. Okay, let me see what I can do.
Daddy made it 10 times easier. But see, I'm used to video players where you can see the timeline.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is high ass age
now,
type technology.
This ridiculous, just ridiculous.
That you
including
know
from
the hell
the
you
blonde
doing. I guess if you're gonna be
black
trying to
person
queue up
to
certain spots,
the jet black,
shit.
and the jet black can be traitors, and they can be
action here.
patriots. They can be a whole lot
I'm
of.
trying to dumb
See,
this
we've
Lovey down
been
on
everything
her.
in history from saint to buffoons. We're a complete people, and we need to start looking at ourselves as a complete people. And I think that once we convinced ourselves that we're black and beautiful, we'll stop saying it and just go ahead and be black and beautiful and release a whole lot of energy for more important things.
All right, since you said that J.A. Rogers was a chronicler that related events, what is there in these 2 volumes in terms of facts that would be beneficial to black Americans in the regaining of our lost heritage?
In terms of facts, is that J.A. Rogers goes through history and places in proper perspectives with documents the role of the black personality in history, beginning from the origin of man in Africa to the present time. And I'm saying that black people need a measurement of the role that they have played in history. And Rogers was the pioneer in the search for the black personality in history and his role. And this is important because through Rogers, in his first volume on the Old World, you can see what the Africans achieved and what the Africans not only achieved within Africa, but the conflicts among African and how these conflicts were settled. Egypt was invaded from within Africa, which began the decline. That was the Kushite invasion, led by that magnificent trio of black generals, Castor, Piyanki, and Taharqa. And the interesting thing about these men, especially Taharqa, the last of the trio, is that he and Taharqa. And the interesting.
All right. So the point. Let me remember the last thing that he was talking about.
He was basically.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The whole deal with. To me, this is the basis of the relevance of this video. Like I say, in light of Black history, or the Black culture being, this is the month that we can celebrate that, without, being called a mob or some shit, or
organized gangsters.
yeah, or some terrorists, some shit. You got February to go ham now.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? Y'all
I'm
better
doing
use
the
the
fool.
shortest month of the
Look.
year. But hey, you know what I'm saying? But his premise is that he feels black people need some sense of a measurement system to show the impact that we have had in the whole of history. When I feel a lot of times in today's society, there's just too much put up on a time in our history, which is slavery. You know what I'm saying? I'll get the impact, 100%.
And the country was literally built on slavery,
I
which
get
means
it.
it's built
I
on
get
our
it.
backs.
But my point is this. In relation to our whole of history, let's even say, and this is going to be real modest, man, because anything greater than this, it'll freak a lot of people out seeing this types of numbers. But let's add up 10,000 years. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, a lot of people going to subscribe to say, oh, no, the world ain't even been so popular. It's only like 5,000, 6,000 years old. Whatever. But anyway, on my show, I'm saying, let's just say around 10,000, which is triple, quadruple that. But anyway, okay, and we gonna say 400 of the most recent of that was slavery. Okay, it cannot, even if we just did an actual measurement, it's not gonna hold up to the same weight as 5, 7, 8,000 years of flourishing. You know what I'm saying? And so the only reason why, to me, the effects of slavery is still being seen is due to the uneducation of our whole of history. You feel me? Because that's the same thing to be on some, I've been riding bikes for 15 years. Am I going to stop riding? Because that last year I fell off a few times more than what I did all the other times before. And now, let's even say the tricks and stunts that I was able to pull, you know what I'm saying, back in the day on these bikes is completely irrelevant now because, I failed a few times. You know what I'm saying? If I thought about the totality of my bike riding experience, and to me it seems like that's what we've been caught in, which is the trap. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we think about what we know about consciousness, what we know about the power of the mind. We're at a time now where it's no longer an excuse to say we don't know about these things. If you don't know about these things, it's because you deliberately choose not to give a fuck.
Right.
Period. You feel me? Because there's too much information out there, even subliminal, to where you have to understand there's a lot of power in the mind. To the point, even greater to the extent of we can start to do away with hospitals. Because if we truly understood the power of the mind, we would know that we can heal ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to go to anything external. You feel me? Our bodies were made to rejuvenate and heal itself. You know what I'm saying? If kept in the proper state, though.
Right.
Now, if we diluting our bodies with all these other factors, that's a hard thing to accept that I can heal myself from cancer. You know what I'm saying? But it starts in the mind. Period. Because the mind is causing things to happen that you ain't even consciously saying needs to happen. You're not constantly thinking about, I need to breathe, but your mind is at work making it happen, getting it done. You know what I'm saying? On a consistent daily basis. And so it's like if in this lieu of Black history, I think if we took a deeper look at our whole of history, it'll speed up this process of us being able to overcome. You know what I'm saying? And I will even use this analogy, and it's real touchy. I get it. Oh man, I may get put in podcast jail, Facebook jail, social media jail as a whole. For real, I get it. As far as what I'm about to say, trust me, I understand. But it's like, even for a female, let's just say that was done a grave disservice in her childhood, to at some point it'd be stated you can't use it as an excuse to still put yourself in conditions that can put you back in that state of mind of being or situations. At some point, you feel me? Whether you need to change your environment to become aware of what is possible, to be on some, you do not have to accept that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To where we won't accept you just living in a state of that's your constant. You feel me? You constantly being abused, and you grown now. You constantly dealing with shit like that.
Once people come accustomed to it, it doesn't become something that's.
Yeah, but at some point, it's one of those things where they saying, "Okay, well, I just don't believe there's nothing else."
That's what I'm saying. Some people.
But my point is, I'm saying, as the environment in which she's around, those around her will not say that that's an acceptable mindset to accept.
True.
You feel me? Unless you deliberately say, okay, this is where I'm going to be at. But the overall consensus, you can't say, oh man, the world is just really jacked up like that. There are no good men and you are doomed to that type of life.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? But it's like, that's the type of mentality that we still have surrounded around. Because I'm like, why we can't get past, for Black History Month, why we can't get past the injustices that were done in slavery, how it may have and still is affecting us today, but why we can't use that as a time to talk about the greater effect that we may have had in part of history. You feel what I'm saying? Because it'd be more talk about the actual brutality of slavery than maybe even the accomplishment that came out of slavery in spite of the brutality.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We won't even really go in depth about those that invented and created things.
Because even going into that, it's almost just like highlighting the fact that our history has been obscured from us because it's not common knowledge. Because a lot of the stuff they hide that, so it's almost, even though it's a good thing, it's almost a reminder still of the actual hold in the programming that we were subjected to.
I 100% agree.
You know
it definitely brings light to and make you become aware of what actually happened. But we just can't stay on what actually happened. We gotta move, because like I say, the one thing that was kind of disheartening, man, when I was watching a lot of these videos, I'm like, yo, it been some years that cats been on some higher level of thinking. Why we don't see an overall like a greater effect of that knowledge being rampant out there right now. You know what I'm saying? Like when, if you was to quote unquote come from a different culture, never have been in America, never been exposed to Western society, and you sit and you watch TV for a few days, listen to some music on the radio, you're gonna have a very jacked up view of Black people, man. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that is self-inflicted of Black people. You know what I'm saying? Because now let's just say a lot of the content that is out there now is, if you want to say, independently published. It ain't so much of the system displaying this shit now. Now when we got stuff like YouTube, now when we got stuff where independent artists can put their music out there, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no corporation telling them, hey, well, no, you gotta do this for visual entertainment, or you have to do this for audible entertainment and information. We can't just say that we're 100% being controlled in those ways, to where before there were only a few radio stations, there were only a few TV stations, and those are the only few platforms in which way we got the programming, the visual stimulation, the audible stimulation. You know what I'm saying? And so it was very easy to say and affirm that we were hyperly being controlled, because the way that we got our information were controlled by a very small few. But today, now,
age of
that can't really say that.
Right.
And so to say that we still have the excuse of it's not readily known, that just goes to show, damn, do we really intend on ever really moving past this, or have we gotten comfortable in the gaslighting and playing the victim? Because it's a little bit more comfortable now. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit like it don't really take no work. It don't take no work to play the victim, man. You know what I'm saying? It don't take no work to play the victim, because we even got quote unquote certified gangsters and drug dealers that come from really good families.
Right.
You just really got to think about that, man. When before, in our culture, in our community, that was a way of life out of necessity.
Survival.
You feel me?
Circumstantial.
And even then, let's just say it was still some that didn't have to they just did it well. You know what I'm saying? Like watching that, I'm sitting there thinking, acting like it was going to be it's a real documentary. He played it like that. The movie,
Snow on the Bluff?
Nah, it's a new one that 50 got out. I want to say the Black Mafia family.
BMF.
Yeah, BMF. Yeah. Because he said, I think they trying to allude to the fact that that's off the real Big Meech, the real character in real life. That's supposed to be some sort of the way it went down. Right around, right? No?
I haven't watched it at all. Okay, I'm completely out the loop.
Yeah. They say a lot of the times, yes, a lot of these stuff is fiction, but hey, some of this shit could actually have happened. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good deal. Anyway, but it's just like we don't have a lot of those excuses. You know what I'm saying? And I challenge myself in a lot of ways with that. You feel what I'm saying? Outside of this political movement or anything of that nature, but just in the sense of self-improvement. You feel what I'm saying? It's so much knowledge out there right now, man. It's really hard to believe that we really can't obtain what we want to a great extent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To a great extent. But I think if we, like I say, if it can come full circle, not saying ignore, not saying not acknowledge, not saying give it its proper time on the soapbox, but we can't stay there just in my argument as it can't weigh up to our whole of history and the impact that we've had as a whole.
Yeah, it's definitely minimizing.
And it's like, if we can get outside of that perspective for a moment, it'll force us back into greatness, because we will remember what we once were
before.
So it don't really matter about that scrape I got on my knee. I don't give a fuck. I just didn't pop the wheelie all the way down the street.
Right.
I'm not tripping that last week my arm was in a brace. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, if we can take that type of mentality, because we do it in other ways subconsciously all the time. We get hit with so many hurdles, man. But what we do, we bounce around, find a way around it, keep it moving, keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in the situation we were talking about where, you know what I'm saying, that mud goes for some a situation we was hoping gonna take place. But look, the preparation for that is something to be applauded. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just like, but we'll never, I hate to sound super cliche, but get to the mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? If we stay stuck on the fact that, man, I slid down for like 10 feet, slipped on the wrong rock, and I slid all the way down the mountain for like 10, 15, 20 feet. When we talking about a mountain that's over a mile long, that 10 feet really don't matter.
Right.
Even if you got to repeat it. You feel me?
Yeah,
because
but
you know
400 years is a lot of feet.
Okay, compare 400 years to 10,000 years.
No, not in that aspect. I'm saying it's when it's like low key still going on. Like, if we were empowered to the point where we were, we had our Black Wall Street, we were economically safe.
All that secondary. All that secondary.
I'm just saying, if we had those things.
All that secondary.
But when we look around and we see.
Remember we talked about on one of the other episodes, if we're going to mention Black Wall Street, we have to mention the totality of it. We came back harder after they burnt that shit down. So why didn't it succeed?
I'm not taking away from the success of it. I said that to say, like, if those type of things would have flourished then we wouldn't be forced to like look at it as something that we lost, which puts us back in the same perspective of how we're affected by slavery. Like, yeah, we can rebuild it and it was greater than it was before, but the fact that they had to go about it so sneakily, the fact that the cards are constantly stacked against us is not something that we should ignore. I mean, we should embody that as a strength, not as victims, but as survivors. Like if we took more of a survivor's approach, you know.
I would even say being it limits you when you just thinking about being in a survival mode. Because to me, a survivor mode, man, it's like, okay, I feel like that's more reactive.
I mean, that might be
actually proactive. We gotta move into a state where we actually proactive.
Okay.
Period. Because we've always had to
be reactive, right?
And they ain't doing shit for us, really. It ain't helping the whole overall plight. Now, when you talking about some Angela Davis and talking about some stuff in them videos that we still can talk about today, and it be 100% relevant. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like, say you blindfold one of these kids and let them hear one of them speeches, they'll think somebody talking about some shit that happened last week.
Fact.
So,
but you're saying, don't look at that though. Let's look at all of our Black achievements.
No. All I'm saying is that we just need to put it into its proper perspective, and I think that if we put more thought into the fact that we are being controlled mentally.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And not ignore, but not put so much weight on the emotional effect that it has had on us, because they are keeping us in an emotional state.
Okay.
They're stopping us from being able to actually accomplish those things that we hope to wish to accomplish. That really we trying to get back to, because it's in our DNA, and that's why we are striving so hard to keep moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We really can't internally accept these conditions. There are some that really do just have kind of assimilated. You don't hear them talking about want to achieve this X. They happy, they cool. Mm-hmm. They really good. It's some coaches, they really feel like, hey, I'm Gucci. Mm-hmm. You feel me? They really ain't tripping like that. But for some reason, it's like we stuck in this battle of, we know we kind of supposed to be more, want to be more, felt like we was more, but still stuck on just talking about the lesson that they told us that showed us and made us live in for a time. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I say, if we if we bring into the conversation what we know about the mind, when you start talking about manifestation, laws of attraction, what are we really doing to ourselves? We're shooting ourselves in the foot every time when we go back to talking about slavery. You feel what I'm saying? It's the same thing when you listen to some stuff like Abraham's or The Secret. You getting bills in your mailbox every day? If you steady start talking about it, complaining about, man, I don't want to go to this mailbox because I don't want to see this bill. Oh, man, I owe this person so much money, all these goddamn bills. Oh, man, this other bill just came. What's going to happen?
Your bills is coming. The bills coming.
But it's even if you damn near trick your mind and say, when you see this $600 bill, you look at it as, oh, this is a $600 check. Man, and allow yourself to indulge in that feeling, visualizing it. You feel what I'm saying? Should have changed. But we keep visualizing the brutality, the injustice. And we got to understand, why do do we really think they really still want to be on some going to the principal every day telling on themselves? We talking about a race of people that really don't ever want to truly admit they fault or wrong in anything.
Right.
So why are we still seeing on a rapid scale slavery? We got to understand the play that they doing. We getting caught up in the trap and believing the sauce of, oh yeah, we just want to acknowledge and, oh man, we feel bad. Come on, man, we got to understand. If we already said in a lot of situations, they flip-flopping shit. Why are they really constantly keeping this on the forefront of our mind? What is it truly doing? How is it fully assisting them in their overall plan? They don't plan for 10, 15 years down the road. They really plan for 500 to 1,000 years at a time. You know what I'm saying? We don't think that they didn't foresee slavery ending in 300, 500 something years.
Yeah, they did the whole. There
You
was a
feel me?
whole book. The
And
whole
so we
Jim
gotta
Crow.
understand.
It was a whole book about.
If we keep subscribing to the play, we ain't gonna never get off the field. That's all I'm saying. Hey man, y'all had a moment with Kodak. Some maybe y'all thought this was BS. Some maybe thought it was insightful. All I'm gonna say is go look at your boy John Henry Clark and let the rabbit hole unfold with all the suggested videos that it can give you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this knowledge has been forgotten and lost, but sometimes we need to go back to the past to remember some things and some consciousness that has already been thought of. You feel what I'm saying? So maybe we can move past this in light of Black history. Y'all stay safe. Y'all keep it real, man. You know what I'm saying? Come back and holler this next week on Love the Jam, man. A Moment with Kodak. And we out.